Welcome to the Moonshot Podcast, the podcast where we explore business growth, inspire innovative marketing strategies, and explore the world of company culture. Now here are your hosts, serial entrepreneurs and best-selling authors, James Philip Arbuckle and Kane Carpenter.
The question is, did Tesla get Pelotoned?
That's a good question. Is that what you think happened?
Not in the same way like Peloton was really a COVID market-driven, stuck in your house. People got a bunch of money from unemployment checks. Like, hey, let's buy a $10,000 bicycle. Tesla was kind of the opposite. Where we had, not the opposite, but we had that major push and hype around electric vehicles. And ramp up. Bunch of money was sloshing around with that 6-7 trillion. We'll call it the 6-7 trillion that was pumped in. And now you're seeing all the automakers kind of cut back. I don't know about all, but it seems like from Ford and some of the new players are struggling, that like 18-month hype is over. And reality is also setting in with interest rates. You know, your $100,000 Tesla at whatever the hell, 8 or 9%. Not what is a car loan these days? I don't know. Not looking so good, right?
Yeah. Yep. We were, my family, we went to, when we were traveling last, I had to take an Uber to the airport, and it was a lady who, we were traveling Christmas Day. It was a lady in an Uber, in a Tesla driving. And I thought, like, what, I asked, like, what do you do? Why are you here? And she was saying that she was visiting family, and she had driven from New York. I'm in North Carolina. I thought, what a way to spend Christmas Day, the Ubering in your Tesla. And it's probably because people's car payments are like $1,000, right? That's what you said.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
What surprised me is if I go back where I grew up, I say when I go back home, you just don't see cars like that. You don't really see electric cars unless they're coming from like Roselle, like just doctors and lawyers down there still. Where you see nicer cars, but for the most part, I always say I know I'm back home because if I go to a restaurant or pull in anywhere, look at tires, and like half my area's got like bald ass tires. That was always the thing when I was growing up. Like everyone always needed tires and brakes because you stretched that stuff out as far as you could go. And even when things are, the last 2 years when things are doing better, you'd see some new trucks down there, but not these like, to be honest, like my truck. To buy like a diesel Tremor F-250, those things are like $90,000, $100,000. And there's so many of them driving around out where I'm at. I'm like, who the hell is buying, $100,000 trucks? And they're not landscaping companies, Kane. So I'm thinking like the payment on that thing's got to be like $1,200, $1,500 or something, right? Now you're out here driving Uber to try to get your car payment done.
Yeah.
It's man, interest rates screwed a lot of stuff up when you think about it.
We just did a video, or we just published a video on making big business decisions on small bits of information or fads. To your point about the Peloton thing, it does feel like the people who could afford the Tesla probably bought the Tesla. I don't know what you call it, but like the rate at which people buy a new car is probably not a year or 2 years, right? So like the amount of people that need, there's the Tesla's adjusted net income total $2.48 billion against $2.61 billion. Like how many cars do they need to sell every quarter, every year for that to happen? It's insane to me.
I mean, there is room to sell that many. I just don't know if there's that much demand for electric cars right now. And there obviously is demand. I just don't know how they're going to keep up with that demand, knowing that there's only so many people that can afford the cars. I know they're getting some of the prices down, but then you got to factor in competition. Like there's new startups coming into play, plus everyone and their mother has some kind of electric car now. I also don't think like this recent news, when we got the cold weather up here and there's all those like dead Teslas everywhere, probably not just Teslas, probably the dead electric cars everywhere where they ran out of range and they couldn't charge. I don't think that helped anybody in the cold weather. And now it's like, what are the chances of you having 2 electric cars in your house? You're probably always going to probably keep one, regular like ICE engine, just because you can't count on the electric car in the cold. So that kind of beats down demand.
Right.
And then
True.
They're not the greatest things to tow with, right? If you're towing long distances or there's all these things that don't seem, there's like the range anxiety and all that crap. And I hope we keep chipping away, right? It sounds like for the world, this is a good way to possibly go. But like all things America and even our government, it's let's get this crazy idea and let's try to do it overnight, even though it's not possible. They were doing that with the mile per gallon thing, right? They kept thinking if we set these crazy mile per gallon goals that we were just going to reach it. And all it did was make cars really expensive. We started getting small engines. Things weren't as fun. Fun cars don't sell as well, Kane. There's all these like things that we're trying to... I guess there's a narrative that if we don't do something right now, the world will end in 24 months. And I've been hearing that for 20 years. And I think we kind of fell into that trap with the hype in the last 2 years. A lot of it because of social media. Are things going in the right direction? No. But did we really think that we're going to convert this whole world over to like electric cars in 24 months? They knew they couldn't. But god damn it, did they try to market that way?
Yeah.
And
this
now we're
kind of... Sorry, James, go ahead.
No, good.
This is where you also get kind of the downfall of like the storytelling stock prices. They're really like, well, it's a Aswath Damodaran kind of thought, right? There are two things that inform a stock price. There's like the story that you tell about it, and then there's the fundamentals. And in an environment like ours right now, where we had GDP growth at 3.3 or whatever it was today, so I guess it doesn't make sense. But the interest rates are really high. You kind of feel like stuff is slowing down. People lose patience with this kind of stuff, and I think to your point, you can keep telling the story that look, everybody's going to have an electric car, et cetera. But I think the Wall Street will just start to lose patience when it comes to their money on stories like that.
Look at the Tesla thing. It's a steady decline for how long now?
This is since the beginning of the year, so
it's I was like, it's going to end up starting with a 1 again, and here we are.
Right.
And I was like, all right, well, let's see how far it's going to go down. I looked at Disney with that same. It's not like it's not going to come back. It's just how far is it going to go down? And I'm not saying, and I'm not giving like financial advice, by the way. The way I think is, okay, you can't time the market, but you can get close. Like you can get a rough idea of when like fads are kind of ebbing and flowing, and everyone who wanted an electric car bought one. Some love it, some hate it. The Cybertruck's not coming out in crazy numbers. Hell, their cars all kind of look the same to me.
Yeah.
But in the same way, so does Benz and Audi, right? It's just the A6 is a little bit bigger than the A4. And I get it. But have they kind of reached a market saturation point? Oversaturated. Because we went through the hype and we had the extra money and this kind of social influence. And that was probably the peak. And that's why I said that they get Pelotoned in a way where this probably wasn't sustainable. And I always say like that was probably the best many companies will ever see. The 7 trillion was pumped into the system, and people were getting these fat unemployment checks. Like, there's raining money everywhere. Like, I'd go to the ATM and get like $200 cash out, and the ATM would be like, you know what, take an extra 100 on us. There's so much money sloshing around, and it all got spent. And you and I talked about another episode about these. If you were head of sales or head of marketing somewhere, and you were probably getting credit for all this, it's sales are through the roof. Well, sales weren't necessarily through the roof because of the efforts. The people just had money to burn, like literally burning money.
Yeah.
And now we see it on the back end. It's like, well, now your sales suck and you're taking a hit for it. And you're going to start seeing turnover. You are seeing turnover. in a lot of those roles. And it's like, so if you're going back to Tesla to use that same logic right now, who you blaming for the, is it economics, or are you going back to your sales and marketing people saying, hey, what do we do?
Yeah. I did a quick Google because I was curious, but earlier you had said that there's definitely enough space to sell that many cars, and it's true. I wanted to know how many cars are sold in the U.S. each year. It's about 15. Well, Cox Automotive says that we're going to sell about 15.5 million cars this year. The street was estimating for Tesla 2.19 million cars produced in 2024. I know there's a global element here, but I'm going to assume that maybe Tesla doesn't have a massive global reach just yet. Most of their cars are sold in the US. But that's an assumption that 1 in 7 cars sold in the US is a Tesla. Something like that. And I just feel like it's so insane. Maybe it is, but I definitely don't see 1 in 7 cars on the road being a Tesla.
No, I do believe that's a global number, but I'm not looking at it, so what the hell do I know? Because if it was that many, I want to say they sold 1 million cars here, maybe, or 900,000, or I don't remember the number. When I probably looked some point last year. I see a few, but it's like I'm in Michigan. Maybe if you go to California, maybe they're everywhere.
That's true. That's true.
It's we see quite a few. I see a Rivian. We see all the other brands, electric cars, and maybe there's other places that there's just a boatload of them. Austin, Texas probably has a bunch, right? But yeah, you're looking at 1 million cars. I mean, I think Ford pumps out 1 million trucks a year or something, or sells 1 million trucks. It's just 1 million trucks. So there's room. It's just, is there a market? Well, there's obviously some market. You can't. I always thought, like, when it comes to stuff like this, you can't will your way into sales. Like, you can keep manufacturing it, but it doesn't mean there's going to be someone out there to buy it, right? And you can try to create some hype, or the best way to do it is come out with a new car.
Yeah, right.
That's been proven over and over. And when Taco Bell sales get slow, they just come out with some new thing where it's the same taco, but somehow they put the beef on the outside of it. And now it's a new billboard, and now it's a new commercial, and now they manufactured a reason for people to come back to the store. If you're at market saturation, you got to find a way. So, come out with what the hell do they even do at this point?
Well, I really think a lot of this is Tesla does this thing where it promises a lot and then typically under delivers. And then we've talked about that. They're very good at, I forget what we call it, like, but distracting you from what's actually happening. Like, when is that truck going to come out? We've been talking about that for years, right?
The Cybertruck or the semi-truck?
I was thinking Cybertruck, but I didn't even realize that they had a semi-truck. So there's two there.
So the Cybertruck is kind of out, I think.
Is it?
That just recently came out, but it's low production numbers. Like, I know that's going to change the game. I want to say the production numbers are pretty low. I thought they were doing a semi-truck, and I might be confusing that with somebody else, but I thought they were doing a semi-truck. But again, the Cybertruck's going to be another, probably when you deck it all out, it's going to be a 6-figure thing, and low production numbers. I don't know how much it actually changes the game for them. It was misdirection we talked about. They're good at misdirection.
That's right.
It's like, they know maybe the quarterly numbers aren't going to be great. Let's launch a flamethrower. I'm not saying that they did that intentionally. It just seemed that way. But they're really good at kind of getting you to take your eyes off the ball with all these other things. And you have not really seen those moves lately. Maybe they're at a point where they're just too big for that to actually move the chains enough. They're still way ahead of everybody else, it seems. So if they keep innovating, I'm going to keep watching the stock price, and it's one of those things that it's the classic contrarian buy, right? That's something that you think is a roughly well-ran company with a good product that's just down on its luck right now. Now that's a lot of what Warren Buffett did over the years, just bought into solid brands. And I don't know if this is the low point, because I still think, so it's deceiving that the Dow's at 38 right now, because I don't feel like the economic conditions are there for that. And I know it's like the economy and the stock market's two different things. You add all this stuff up and you see a lot of signs like what's going on with Tesla right now, and it's like, well, where is the market right now, and is there more pain ahead? I feel like there's more pain ahead.
Yeah.
And if there's more pain ahead, then how far is this thing going to go down? And it's not going to be a penny stock. I get that. It's just, this might be a nice investment opportunity. You got to figure, was that what, 250? To double that, we got to go to 500. If you got in at like 125 and it went to 500, there's opportunity there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I've even kept my eye on it. It's another victim of this last 2 years, and I gotta imagine it's now it's kind of hitting these products that even the people with money could afford. And now maybe we're going to see things like, are you going to see places like Target and other retailers eventually take a hit, maybe Q2, when people really started to tighten their money up. You saw the CNBC thing that said like 80% of people have less than $5,000 in their bank account or something.
500, right?
Less than 500. Oh, jeez. I'm seeing buy one get one free at McDonald's. I don't know last time not that I was looking. I just don't know the last time I've seen that. Right.
Right.
I do eat McDonald's. I pick my dad up breakfast from there, and I just don't remember seeing that. And maybe it's there and I didn't notice it, but Applebee's is running this commercial nonstop about all you can eat riblets and chicken and shit for $14.99. And someone else I saw was doing buy one get one free, maybe Buffalo Wild Wings. And it just, January's slow. I know, I'm invested in bars and restaurants. I know January's slow, but I just don't remember this much of a push for like the buy one get one frees and all that type of stuff. It really is bringing back memories of 2008. And I just wonder if things are just maybe slower than we think they are. And if that unemployment ticks up to 4 or 5, what's 2024 looking like?
Yeah. So you're saying that this reminds you of pre-financial crisis, or like kind of the immediate aftermath?
Like right after, you really started to see a lot of these food deals. Because people, they just weren't coming to the restaurants. They started cooking at home, or they were just finding cheaper ways of eating. You and I talked about a recent episode about how easy it is to get a restaurant reservation.
That's right.
I just had to change one for today that typically I would not have normally been able to do what I did today. It's a large party size, and I had to move the time, and then usually those things usually book those things out weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm looking around, and I was like, oh, if that doesn't work out, what else is available? And Kane, everything was. I can go wherever I want tonight.
Yeah.
And I just, I know January's slow. McDonald's doing buy one get one.
Right.
Not that they don't do deals, but I've seen there's a bunch of people doing deals. And I'm looking at the drive-thrus are slow. The restaurants. I was just out to dinner on Tuesday, and it was like 6:00, and it's a popular restaurant, and I think we were one of 2 tables there. Kane, it's a huge restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And to give you the idea of it, the kind of money they do, I think they had something on their website. If you wanted to buy that restaurant out on a Friday or Saturday, it was $30,000. So wow. That's how much. It's like 25 on a weekday and like 30,000 on a weekend. That's how much money was going through that place. And now we're there at 6:00, and on Tuesday. I know it's still early in the week, but it's not usually dead. And there's 3 tables in there. If you think about how much money they're losing, you add all that up, and I just think we're starting to run out of money. And
We talked about it. We kind of sorry, James, to cut you off there. We kind of predicted this when we were talking between Thanksgiving and Christmas, say, and we were saying, or at least I was saying, that the real litmus test for the health of the economy is after we get through the spending, because we'll stretch ourselves to get through the holidays. It's now that now we see it, I think, and so it'll get reflected in earnings season in 3 months.
well, they're talking about the amount of money that's on the buy now, pay later.
Oof, yeah.
Like we saw reports of that in Q4 of how much people were putting a hell of a lot of money on buy now, pay later, and more than I ever thought we were. And then it's just kind of like black hole money where. Does that get reported? Do we know how much the consumers have tied up in there? Maybe no one knows. It's like a black box, some of these things. I'm not sure they all get even reported to the credit bureaus. I think some do, some don't. So, I mean, again, you typically wouldn't do that and pay some of those rates unless your credit cards are maxed out or you're out of cash. And we did that. And actually spending was, up a little bit at Christmas time. So did we just blow it all? And what comes next?
Yeah, great question.
I think Tesla's going to have I think all the electric car makers are going to have trouble here in the short term. And that's not me being clairvoyant. It's already happening, right? It's just me reading the news. And, I think Ford learned a lesson. And it's one of those things that's like, I know that they were getting pushed to, like, they have to do something. I get it. They can't sit there and just keep doing gasoline and diesel because Rivian and Tesla's going to come along and take all their business. I understand they needed to push. But at the same time, the market wasn't ready. And it's like, you almost got to double down on what you're good at right now. You're selling 1 million F-150s or something a year, or 1 million trucks. It's like we talked about the Arby's. It's like, well, how do we reinvigorate the brand? Everyone's going, Beyond Burgers and quinoa pitas and shit. And Arby's like, screw it. We're just going to do meat.
Yeah.
Like, we have the meat. And they got gyros, they got turkey Reubens, they got the original roast beef, like they got a burger, they got like deer sliders and shit, like they got everything, right? They just doubled down on what they were, and they kind of salvaged that brand. Ford really tried to go hard on that electric. I also think Ford made a mistake in the past by trying to push that V6 EcoBoost. I still cry every time I hear a Ford Raptor with that engine. And $100,000 truck we want? Give me a V8. You can't sell me $100,000, or hell, with the dealer markups. I think they're charging $125,000. I don't want a $125,000 Raptor truck with a 6 in it, no matter how much horsepower. So they finally brought back the V8 in that truck. Ford's has made some missteps. And now, did GM go as hard on electric vehicles is my question.
I don't know it.
I don't know if they did. Well, I mean, they got the Hummer, but that's kind of a separate brand. But you know what they kept doing? They kept selling those goddamn SUVs with the V8 engines in them. And there was the last 2 years you can't even buy one. It's still hard to get one. You get the Escalade, Tahoe, and the Yukon. Big SUV, V8 engine, selling these things like hotcakes, Kane. And they're also massive margin. They make all their money on those things, and almost like the tale of the two markets, right? They're telling you electric, but they can't keep 6.2 liter V8 Yukons in stock. And they're probably making $20,000-$30,000 a truck or something off of it. I'm guessing it's insane. And knowing that, like, America's not ready to go all in on that, I think Tesla's going to have some struggles. Obviously, they do. Like,
yeah.
What's the Porsche one? I talked to you about that before.
Taycan.
I can't ever pronounce shit. The lot down here is full. You drive by, you can't get a 911 to save your life. The lot is full of those electric Porsches. I got a piece of marketing from them. I never get Porsche marketing about buying something.
Yeah.
Don't have to. They're always sold. But it's like, are they going to offer buy one get one free Taycans?
Ooh.
Because they can't sell them. What the hell are you going to do with them? They'll eventually drop the price down so low someone will buy them. But it's like, damn, this whole thing believing that everyone wanted an electric car screwed a lot of people up. It's the same way we talked about how, social media kind of manipulated people into believing a lot of things in the last 2 years. And it was really like 4% of the world or something. And it made companies look at it and go, 80% of people probably want this. No. So now I'm about to get a buy one, get one free Porsche.
Yeah, I was going to look at the price, yeah.
like the McDonald's Big Mac I'm going to get for lunch.
Yeah, Warren Buffett eats McDonald's. It's all good.
So do I. Hey, give me a fry. Like I'm good. Anyways, anything else to close this thing out?
No.
Do you think they got Peloton or?
It's a little. The sentiment is the same. I think it's the decision making on when you're like decision making on like peak information. Peloton overhired, which was their issue, and it looks like Tesla's just like not selling as well as they probably thought they would.
Well, they lowered prices too, right, to try to get the demand up a little bit.
Yeah, that right, and it's what it hurts if someone got beat by that, right? So I think there's a lot of stuff going on with Tesla in general. Strategy is always shifting for them. They're always moving the goalpost to a level that you don't really see with other companies, right? Like, so yeah, a lot going on.
I totally forgot about Hertz, where they traded in like 200 or 20,000 electric cars.
Yeah, because when you lower the price the way the Tesla did, you can't. Well, I know there's a move. You can't. People aren't probably renting them, but there's also a balance sheet thing going on there where you lower the price and they have to market to the lower price.
It's not electric cars aren't dead. We went through an overhyped a lot of things in the last 2 years, and this is just another brand. They got a lot of IP. They probably still have the best product. I don't think they're going anywhere. What's the next thing to fall is my question. What is that? What is the other thing that people have been riding on for the last 2 years, and it's about to get caught too? There's something.
In the meantime, buy one get one free Porsches.
I don't think I have enough power at my house to charge one, let alone two. The problems we got to solve. All right. Well, I'm going to catch you on the next one.
All right.